Welcome back, tribe. I have an episode here from a small channel, Happier Man. He says a verbally abusive wife will destroy you. Appreciate you guys for submitting this. Keep on going.
Hi, it's Hans at a Happier Man. Hi, it's Hans at a happierman.com. Today's topic is a verbally abusive wife will destroy you. So the main thing is when you find yourself with a verbally abusive wife, like I did, is to recognize what you're going through and to start to make plans to leave, because this situation will not get better. It appears like from the research I did back in the day when I was being verbally abused and, not knowing which way to turn and not understanding, things and why she was this way and, why couldn't she just start to be nice to me again like she was in the early days of our marriage. I didn't get it. And I did tons of research, read a handful of books on verbal abuse. And usually the verbal abuse was written by books, and articles were written by ladies who had specialized in ladies being verbally abused by men. And sometimes they would have, and which is horrible. Men should not do that either. Verbal.
I hate how we have to do this as men. Do you see? You can't even get on the topic of verbally abusing abusive wives without having to excuse the bad men. Oh, every single person in the mainstream media does this. Every time there's a topic how men are negatively affected by women in some way. But what about the women? But that doesn't excuse men, and it's horrible when it happens back to women from men. Why? Just dude. Can we all stop coddling the female mind so much with every single topic has to be, but what about the women though? But and when men do this, it's all so bad. We already know this. Don't beat people. Don't verbally abuse people. Don't put your hands on any person. Don't try to manipulate people. This is all common sense as being a good-hearted human being. I hate when this shit happens, man. And you have to do it, or else there's a certain crowd of people that are going to go crawl right up your ass. He's advocating for abusing your spouse.
Abuse is horrible no matter who is on the receiving end of it. But I think Patricia Evans, she was like the main writer I read articles about, and she did have a couple of minor articles about verbal abuse of men from women, and the research seemed to say that she found that the women...
Here's a brutal truth. You can't get fat. You can't get, at all. No beer guts. You can't let your body go. You can age gracefully as a man, but you need to remain the strong protector in her eyes the entire time. If you start looking like the bumbling, fumbling, idiot dad, like standard dad you see on the media, in all the TV shows and movies, you just lost the plot. Your relationship is over. She will grow to resent you. She will be disgusted by you. You're not exuding the qualities of protector. And by the way, if you've ever seen a man in his 60s or late 50s, that's he's most likely on TRT or whatever, but that's fine. So he's on hormones, or maybe he was genetically blessed. But he looks like a silverback gorilla, okay? He's got the gray or the white already everywhere, and he's just absolutely yoked still. Dude, even young women still look at that guy. I'm not joking. There's actually if you know guys like this, let's just say that. If you've ever seen a guy like this, they're not very common. If you've ever seen a guy like this, I guarantee you, whether he has a wife or he doesn't, he's not struggling to get attention from women. And the guys that I've seen that look like this that were married, believe me, they're happily married. Happily with a capital H. Never had an issue. That woman is on automatic dread just by that man simply existing in the form that he does at his age. Can you imagine looking like a silverback gorilla at 60 with your wife, and you see young chicks just eyeing your man? And I'm not saying young like 19 either, but 30-year-old women are looking at that guy, 35-year-old. Hell, if it gets as young as 25. I've seen 25-year-olds on the arm of a 60-year-old silverback. It can happen. But the moment you let yourself go, which unfortunately for the vast majority of people, that's the real life. Most people don't keep up with their health. Kids, wife, family, job, all gets in the way, and you use that as an excuse to not go. You lose your identity in your marriage. You become husband, you become father, but you lose yourself in the process instead of adding to your identity. Those things are also part of you instead of that being the only thing you are, which is why so many men wake up with a midlife crisis. And I did an episode on that one. over on the second channel, why men have a midlife crisis. And it was a shocker for a lot of guys to hear that episode because it resonated so deeply with all men in around that age bracket when you're living this life that it doesn't feel like it's yours. Like you don't have agency over anything. You're going through the motions. Every day blurs into the next. It's check it out if you haven't.
And couldn't stop being verbally abusive. That sometimes she would, as a therapist, she would have some success in getting men to stop being verbally abusive to their wives, but she didn't have any success in getting the women to stop. So I think for you as a man being verbally abused, I don't think you have a lot of hope in your wife getting nice again. It just doesn't seem to be.
You have to think of this from like, look, this is going to come off so fucked up. You know how they say like women don't really emotionally mature past like teenage years in terms of their behavior and stuff, accountability, responsibility, all that. I didn't say that. Someone else did. Anyways, that applies to her at 50, 60, all that stuff. You think she's evolving, gaining wisdom, growing as a person, changing, which, okay, yeah, most people do. Okay, but when it comes to accountability, responsibility, and expectations of a man, they didn't change from the time she was 19 to the time she's 60. She will have those same exact expectations. She will have the same exact relationship with accountability and responsibility. Why? Because it was offloaded to you as the man. That's not her job. As you get older in age, you may start offsetting some of your responsibility and accountability onto her to help you manage the relationship, the marriage, the children, all that stuff. You can't do that. They don't grow out of that mentality. The whole reason she gave you kids and went through that shit is because you're a man and you handle business. That's as simply and as coldly as they see it. The moment you start to give her more responsibilities, make her more accountable for things, you're pushing her away. It is what it is, bro. It's the nature of the game. You could choose to play or you could choose to not.
Be any evidence that she can, and it's perhaps there's reasons for her that she thinks she has to be this way. There might be mental illnesses, there might be traumas and problems, but in the end, it doesn't matter why someone is verbally abusive. The impact of their terrible behavior on you is just going to destroy your life if it's not already destroyed. You know, truthfully, I'm damaged. Sometimes you just admit that your life was destroyed, and you start about rebuilding from where you're at, which is a wrecked position, and try to make something of the rest of your life. And that's what I'm doing. You know, my website is called ahappierman.com. My YouTube channel is A Happier Man. So I'm happier than before. I wouldn't say I'm totally there yet, right, with the happiness. My life is incredible compared to where it was, but I started at well below zero on the happiness. You know, when I was being verbally abused, I wasn't happy at all, really. There was very little reason to be happy. Every day was just a grind, trying to get through, trying to survive, trying to hopefully not set her off. Hopefully she'll have a decent day and did not make my life really, really bad. But for the most part, that was my reality. And I think you as a man, if you're being verbally abused, that's probably your reality too. You're not sure if you can make it. You probably want to die young. You probably want something drastic to happen. You're hoping that you'll nicen up. You're not sure what tomorrow will bring, you know, probably more pain, probably more suffering, probably more misery. And the sooner you can recognize this, that
this is strange because I haven't, not an episode, but a discussion on the private community is going to be about beta males and how society wants you to be weak as a man. And it's a lot of what he's going through just echoes the standard characteristics of what a beta male is expected to endure in a relationship with a woman who settled for him. I hate to even use the whole beta alpha thing because it's cringe and played out by now, but it is a way to describe how women treat a certain category of men. Those they find attractive and those they find only good for provisioning. It is what it is. And unfortunately, society wants men to be good at provisioning only, but be good little lapdogs when it comes to the rest of what the system wants from you, as in taking away your rights, limiting your ability to climb up in the social ladder, taxing you to death and you don't rise up and do anything about it, yada, yada. The list goes on and on. But a good beta male is basically whatever the average lifespan is, say 80 years old, an 80-year-old extraction machine to just jack all the money, all the labor, and the work that you provide to go to the state and the woman. It is what it is, man. I don't know what else to tell you guys. It's like, this is the only way you can win as a man in a relationship. Honestly, you always have to be evolving. You have to put yourself first. Your woman will always come second to you, maybe even third to it's you and your mission in life, then your woman. The moment you put her first in your life, it's the happy wife, happy life bullshit. And this is what you get. You get verbally abused, emotionally, psychologically tormented, and then you'll come out absolutely damaged just like he did on the other side. And society isn't going to pat you on the fucking back and tell you what a good boy that you finally stood up for yourself after years of torment and you got out of this situation. There's not even help groups or anything for men. Like he did research and all of it is steered towards women. Imagine if a woman was in this position talking about this, the amount of focus groups, whatever, help groups, government plans, workshops, and all this other crazy shit, all the resources they have available to them to get away from a situation like this. The system is rigged. It is gynocentric. You are at a disadvantage as a man. Same with physical abuse in relationships, domestic violence, same. There's nothing but resources for women, but for men, nothing. And guess what? Women perpetrate a lot of the domestic abuse. Shockingly high statistics, but they won't let those numbers be public. Well, they do. We know what the numbers are, but they won't cover them in the mainstream. That data is buried. This is the reality of the West today. This is why so many men are leaving, or so many men are just checking out. The ones that can't leave, check out. I'd rather not play the game is what they tell you. Why? Because look at what happens. Unless you're, and I don't even want to say the perfect man, dude, but unless you're living to your potential in life and actually taking care of yourself and bucking the trend of happy wife, happy life, you're most likely going to end up in some variation of this relationship. And I don't mean just the emotional torment and abuse. I'm just saying in general that you will get used for your wallet. You will not have any respect. You'll be forced to walk on eggshells. She'll try to dominate you through psychology and weaponizing sex to do what she wants. So you become a walking wallet, a spineless toad. And this is the proposition that they have for men, average men, in the modern world today. Hey, get married so you could get this. Why? Because our drive and our instinct to, leave a seed behind, a legacy is extremely strong, and we'll enter in a contract like marriage. We'd like to be heads of households. We'd like to have a successful family with a loving wife and a couple of children. Everybody would like that. The economics doesn't support it anymore. And psychologically, emotionally, and your vows, period, are no longer supporting that anymore from modern women. Why? Just look at what they say. Look at how they talk. Look at how they've been propagandized by the gynocentrism. Men ain't shit. What are men good for? The patriarchy, this, toxic masculinity. They're destroying every single identifier of what a man, a traditional strong man, is supposed to be. At the same time, when they go on a date with the double standards of, but you must be this strong man, but also somehow a mega simp to me. The alpha simp. They're looking for the elusive unicorn. An alpha simp. He's the strongest of the men all around. He can kill anyone with his bare hands and he makes hundreds of millions of dollars. But behind closed doors or even in public displays of affection, he gets on his knees so that he kisses my red bottoms. He buys me anything I ask for without any questions. He even will degrade himself in ways you cannot imagine, all for me, the sole dominator and having dominion over this alpha simp's life. It makes no sense. There's no such man. When you go on the alpha side of the spectrum, whatever, you're going to be second-class citizen. That guy is after his own life. You get treated like another woman. Of many in the crowd, you are replaced anytime you step out of line. You get told what to do, and expectations, they're stringent and very strict. With boundaries that are crossed, the nuclear option gets exercised immediately. Next, you're getting replaced. On your tiptoes, soldier. That's what you get as a woman when you get one of these guys. Now you want to go to the beta end of the scale, then the power dynamic reverses, and then you're the one that dictates all the rules, and he's the one that says how high, milady, after you tell him to jump. Okay, so you want somewhere in the middle. Yeah, well, good luck. because somewhere in the middle was what normal average men used to be. Now you have two extremes. The world's becoming extreme. You got the alpha playboys that are just running through chicks, right? The top 20% of men. Hell, now it's becoming just the top 10%. And then you have the bottom rest that are turning into mega simps, bro. Absolute degenerate, fan simps, simping in DMs, giving girls money just to talk to them on their DMs. Good morning, baby. Here's $50 because you're so beautiful. Shit like that, bro. It's insane. The average man in the middle is just checking out because he neither wants to be an extreme simp and he can't yet qualify to be the extreme alpha. Maybe he's still under construction. He's working on himself. And that's what you have today. Mega simps, men under construction or invisible, and then the alphas that are just taking absolutely everything and wrecking up shop. It is what it is. I digress. Don't listen to me. But anyways, if you want to see the rest of his video, his channel is A Happier Man. Dude, links in the description below. Appreciate everybody that's tuning in. Guys that are recommending me these videos. And if you haven't signed up to the second channel, boys, subscribe. Check some of the videos out. They're very valuable, helping a lot of men. And join us on a private community. We have calls every day of the week, and I'm in a bunch of them. And come hang out and talk about, random topics like this: dating, relationships, marriage, money, self-improvement, you name it. Anything that could help men get on their path, especially being with like-minded people and not having to bite your tongue in this world. Sheesh. Anyways, we'll see you on the next one, boys. Take care of yourself.